Hey there, and welcome back to the info channel. Today we're finally going to be going over some Dragonflight crafting news. Topics we're going to be covering today: crafting orders and their UI, profession specializations, crafting with quality and how to determine that quality, additional crafting stats that they're going to be adding, and some powerful crafted equipment that you're going to be able to craft in your specialization. And I'm going to provide a link for you below if you want to go over any of this information on Wowhead. So let's get into it. Crafting orders. Crafting orders are a new way for you to place an order for almost any Dragon Isles crafting recipe using an auction house-like interface. This new service will be provided to you nearly free of charge by the representatives of the Artisans Consortium, a new trading organization recently found within the first branch of the Dragon Isles. Thanks. More taxes. When placing an order, there are 3 options that you can set who can fulfill it: available to anyone, guild members only, or a specific individual. Tradable regiments can be provided by you or the crafter, while certain special regiments may only be provided by one or the other. In particular, soulbound regiments will often need to be provided by you when placing an order for a soulbind item. That makes sense. That you're going to have to go out into the world to get that soulbound item, at least to get that crafted item. That's nice. This looks like the UI that they're going to be setting up. So provided regiments right here in this corner. Some optional regiments to amplify power. Okay. Showing the quality up here at the top. Guessing this is going to be the selection that available to anyone, guild only, or specific person. Any notes you want to put, if you want to commission them, how long you're going to leave your order up for, that tax fee that's going to the Artisans Consortium. Alright, let's move on. You will also be able to customize the order further by including various optional regiments depending on the recipe, dictating exactly what you want to be crafted. For example, many equipment recipes will allow you to specify secondary stats similar to missives from Shadowlands, which is good. That's more of like a targeted item, at least. You know the secondary stats are at least going to be the ones you need. It's always bad getting an item that the stats are actually absolutely horrible for your class. That sucks. Once you are finished customizing the order, you will decide on an offered commission to the crafter, pay a small posting fee, and send it off. This is going to be the UI for the orders itself, like looking for them. It looks exactly like the auction house, just copy paste. It's nice. It's a nice clean UI. Nothing to complain about. No new crazy innovations. It's not busy. Crafters can then view these orders, fill in any missing regiments, craft the item, and collect the commission, minus a small cut for the Artisans Consortium, of course. So they're going to tax you twice. The finished item will then be delivered to you in the mail. At least you don't have to go and trade it. That's good. On the other end of the transaction as a crafter, this will be a great new way for you to earn gold, increase your skill, and most importantly, help craft for your friends and guildmates. If you focus on quality and customer service, you might even build up your own following of customers and lock in steady business. That's good. I could see this as like back in the day when everyone wanted a blacksmither specifically to make an item, and there was only like 3 people on your server that could do it, so they got to charge outrageous prices. That's where the commissions are definitely going to come in. Profession specializations. Profession specializations will allow you to specialize in your primary crafting and gathering professions once you've reached a high enough skill. You will earn specialization points through a variety of activities and get to spend them to permanently improve different areas of your profession. That's good. This will be one of the main ways you can differentiate yourself from your peers, as there will be many areas of each profession to specialize in. More on this to come on this feature in a later bit. So this sounds like we're going to be receiving a talent tree, essentially, for specializations, which is awesome. I would love to have a talent tree for my spec in mining. But this is also kind of relating back to the Burning Crusade and Classic, where you had armor specializations or weapon specializations where you made the best maces or someone made the best axes. So this will definitely divide the community more, but provide a niche for specific people. That's good. Crafting with quality. Quality and its effects. New to World of Warcraft in the concept of crafting quality, both of crafted items and gathered regiments. Okay. This is not to be confused with rarities such as common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, which will remain unchanged and isn't directly related to crafting quality. Okay? Crafted equipment will have 5 levels of quality, while other crafted and gathered items such as potions and ores will only have 3 levels of quality. Here's the tiers, 1 through 5. For crafted equipment, quality will primarily modify item level, which each level of quality increases by a small amount. For example, a piece of crafted leveling gear might be an item level 270, 272, 74, 77, 80 at the quality tier 1 through 5. In all cases, the goal is to have quality matter enough for it to be worth your effort to achieve higher qualities, without having the gains to be so large of the lowest quality versions that won't feel worthwhile. Kind of like Titan Forging back in the day, that made you sad that you didn't get a Titan Forged item, and it was almost not worth even using. For crafted items such as consumables that have quality, the effects of quality are a bit more varied. Okay, I was confused by that for a second. For most, a higher quality will result in a more powerful effect, but in some cases it might come in other forms of variations such as longer duration, more charges, etc. Note that there is an expectation that low quality versions of these items will sell for less, but this will provide a niche for those who don't want to spend a lot of gold to be able to make full use of suit of crafted items. It will also be cheaper to craft low-quality versions of these items for a variety of reasons. Which I could see. You still get, say, Lust. You would get the 30 seconds, but if you had a more powerful version of it, you would get 40 seconds. You still get 30 seconds of Lust. That's a great buff, but it's not 40 seconds, and that price is going to vary. I could see why they'll be doing it that way. Here's a nice UI for alchemy. I've never really done alchemy, so I can't really point anything out. Finishing regiments, I know that's going to probably increase the quality and help. Crafting skill, resourcefulness, I know is going to make it so you can use less materials. And inspiration is going to be like a roll of the luck. You have a 7% chance to just make a better item. That's the RNG of it. So let's go on. For regiments that have quality, that quality value will serve as a major input into crafting. Crafting with higher quality basic regiments will directly provide bonus skill when crafting with them. More on that below. Okay, so these 3, the brewed salts, are what you would put in the finishing regiments, is what it said. Or any of them, I guess. It could go here or the finishing. Finishing regiments are a new type of regiment that can be used to improve aspects of crafting process, increasing skill or crafting stats, for instance. Higher quality versions of these will have stronger effects on crafting. Here's the brewed salts. You can see here inspiration is 9 with crafting speed of 15, and it goes up to 12 and 20, 15, 25. Lastly, please note that not all gathered regiments will have quality. The core regiments gathered by the primary gathering professions, mining, skinning, herbalism, will have quality, as well as regiments crafted by other primary professions, bolts of cloth, metal alloys, etc. Other regiments such as meat, cloth, fish, and elements that can be gathered by everyone won't have it. Which makes sense. This makes you dive into a specialization more, since not everyone can do it. That's kind of where they're driving this. Determining quality, the crafting process. Alright, so this is how you increase that quality. When crafting an item, there are two main elements of note. The recipe difficulty will determine how hard to craft the recipe at a higher quality. Recipe difficulty will also change when you include optional reagents. Okay, so the optional ones are the ones that are going to change how much quality, which can modify it up and down depending on their effects and quality, sometimes significantly. Okay? So this one is guaranteed crit and haste, which is like the missives, and this one 15% or 15 recipe difficulty, and this one has a 10 difficulty recipe. Okay. Your crafting recipe is determined by your base skill of your profession, Dragon Isles tailoring, so just the Dragon Isles, not any previous expansions, but can be modified by a variety of factors, including the quality of regiments you use. Finishing regiments, profession gear will provide skill bonuses, various bonuses provided by consumables, and most significantly, your profession specialization. As you can see in the image below, your crafting UI will make it clear based on all of these factors what quality you are expected to craft at your item at. Okay, so it looks like we have boots here. We have the regiments, missing some ore. But what they're talking about is these crafting details right here. Here's the difficulty, 325. My crafting skill is 292. I have a resourcefulness of 9% and inspiration of 4%. And it looks like I'm going to be in tier 4 quality, almost tier 5. Okay? As you craft your item, there's a small amount of randomness added to your skill roll to represent the natural variation in your skill execution. In addition, if you have any inspiration, a new crafting stat, you have a chance to become inspired, granting a significant amount of bonus skill during the craft. This means that you may do better than you expected, but never worse, which is always a plus. It's always good to feel like you got something extra, but not that you're missing out on something, like you got negative. In the end, your final crafting skill will be compared against the recipe difficulty. If that skill is higher than the difficulty, you will craft an item that is maximum quality. Otherwise, the quality will depend on where your skill falls comparatively. That's good. All the additional crafting stats. So these are all the new stats that they're adding to the expansion. In addition to your primary crafting skill, there are several secondary crafting stats that can affect crafting of new Dragon Isle recipes, in which you can specialize and gear towards. That's good. So we're going to have gear now. So we're going to have talent trees and gear towards professions. That's a huge bump. Inspiration. You have a % chance to be inspired, crafting this recipe with extra skill. Inspiration is for those of you who love rolling the dice and getting lucky on those bonus quality. It's also a way to craft items at a higher quality than your natural skill with a specialization would allow when you get lucky. Well, it's good. So like if you're gonna be at a tier 2 and you have a 5% inspiration and it kicks in and you make a tier 4 item, that'll feel so great to happen. Resourcefulness. You have a % chance to use fewer tradable regiments, such as ore. If you're trying to squeeze every drop of profit out of your crafts, this is the stat for you. So if you have 10 ore and you have resourceful percentage, I don't know exactly how it's going to work yet, but you could essentially maybe reduce it down to 5 ore using half the crafted materials. That's good. Multi-craft. You have a % chance to craft additional items. This only works for recipes on stackable items, so potions. We have long loved the feeling of extra crafted items for various abilities like Potion Master and Burning Crusade. Multi-craft cements this as a permanent crafting stat for those of you who love that moment of crafting a bit extra. It's always great to do that, especially like I've seen my friends do it. I've never gotten into alchemy, but they're just trying to make one potion and they get like a ×5 multiplier off of the crafting materials that it costs 1. That's amazing. And lastly, crafting speed. Crafting is % faster. For those of you who mass produce crafts for the auction house or just want to save a few seconds now and then, crafting speed is the stat to help you craft those items. Okay, I see this not being that valuable. I don't see how it's going to work out too well for those of you that would want it on gear or something, but okay. Let's move on to the powerful crafted equipment. Powerful crafted equipment. In Dragonflight, you will find many recipes for extremely powerful crafted equipment. In fact, every primary crafting profession can craft one or more recipes, all of which work under a shared system with the following attributes. Okay, so professions are going to have legendaries attached to them now, essentially. Up to 5 of these crafted pieces can be equipped at once, with two-handed weapons counting as 2. Okay, so if you have a two-handed, you can have 3 items and a two-hander. All of them start at an item level range near normal rates, increasing with quality. Through earned optional regiments, they can be brought up to heroic and even mythic item levels, making them competitive with some of the gear you can find. So that's good. People can now take crafted items and move them through raid tiers and not have to get rid of them. So you don't feel like you're losing out on that money, at least. All are soulbound, so you either need to craft them yourself or have someone craft them for you through the crafting order. But as we saw earlier, you can go and get that soulbound item, throw it in there, and someone can make it for you, at least, even if you don't have that specialization. Each piece of crafted equipment will require several types of soulbound regiments that you will need to earn to craft it and to improve it further with optional regiments. One type of regiment will come from various challenging activities, including dungeons, raids, PvP, and adventuring in some dangerous outdoor areas. Good to hear. We're getting dangerous outdoor areas. You will need to earn a fair amount of these regiments to craft a piece of equipment, more for significant pieces. So I'm guessing more for like a helmet, chest, legs. You can also use this regiment to construct an optional regiment to bring this equipment up to around heroic item level, and mythic as they said before. A second type of regiment will come from a series of quests that reward you enough to craft one piece of equipment. Additional stages of these quests will become available to everyone every few weeks. So they're going to be putting out dailies for these optional regiments that we can actually just do every day. That's nice, because then we could use them again on the auction house. They're just providing more interaction with that auction house. To upgrade the equipment to mythic raid item level, you will need to acquire a final regiment that can only be obtained at the highest tiers of content. Mythic raids, the highest level of Mythic Plus, and highly rated PvP. So if you do mythic raids, mythic dungeons, or PvP, you can still make these items. So you're not going to be towed into one of the 3. You can do all 3 of them. Philosophically, the goal of this system is to have professions be a meaningful source of high-end gear, elevating the importance and values of professions. As a crafter, you'll need to go through significant effort to gain the skill, specialization, and recipes necessary to craft the gear, but should be well worth it. This should be worth the gold and the time going through it. You want the professions to be enjoyable as we go through it too. As a user of this gear, you will also need to go out and acquire many of the regiments yourself. The soulbound regiments are designed to provide means of deterministic incremental progress towards gear of your choice while doing the activities of your choice. In addition, the quest acquired regiment mentioned above will limit how quickly you can acquire high-end crafted gear. This will prevent it from overwhelming other sources of gear while giving you the freedom to choose from where and how quickly you want to acquire other regiments. So that was a ton of information. We went over the crafting orders and the UI, profession specializations, crafting with quality, the additional crafting stats that they're going to be adding, and how we're going to get the regiments and what we're going to be doing to crafting those powerful equipment pieces that we're going to be able to take through all of the tiers. But let me know what you think. Are you excited for these new crafting professions, or do you think it's just going to flop? Because professions haven't been too important lately, and they definitely need to be revamped. That's it for this one, and I'll see you next time.